Giving all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Harachawadash. Saying double honors to our apostles and elders here at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the Lord's hopefully elect. So, you probably seen it already, but Bishop Nathaniel, the IUIC, has put up a new commercial the other day, December 9th. And he titled it, that's the video playing right there, but he titled it, Join the Family Today. So just with that response and as well as this commercial, it says, it really just confirms what we've always been saying, right? That that organization over there is not concerned at all about the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. You know, this is where the people come in the comments, oh, brother, you just hating. Look, with the understanding of the scriptures and that we're seasoned in this truth, the reason we don't trip, you don't know why. We already know the outcome. You understand the scriptures, you understand that the outcome is already written. It's already written of what's going to happen. And the answer is simple. It's going to fall. Okay. Oh, brother, you just hating. You just want to fall. You should be happy that, you know, them brothers out there trying to wake up Israelites. It has nothing to do with the will of Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. Nothing. If it's one word or one people that IUIC doesn't deal with, it's the elect of Israel. They don't deal with it. They talk about all nations. And when I say all nations, I mean all Israelites. You know, anybody can join. And they'll say, no, we don't just let anybody in. We vet people. Yeah, you do background checks, like you may do FBI background checks and things like that. You don't vet people in the spirit. Every person that joins that group is at least $500 to $800 per person. Because you tell them what they have to buy, you tell them what they have to wear, you tell them what they have to do. Them people in there just follow orders. They're not properly vetted in the scriptures. They couldn't break down Genesis chapter 2. They just go off this precept packet. And they only know what they're told. That's why Yahweh Shai said, or Yahweh said, Yahweh Shai quoted Isaiah and said, surely these people flatter me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. And the fear towards me is taught by the precept of man. Meaning they don't actually go into the book and read and understand or anything. It's just taught by IUIC, and IUIC says law, statutes, and commandments. And if you break those, you're a sin and you're liable to go to this place called hell to burn forever. So they just fall in line and do as they're told. That's it. And as you can clearly see, that commercial, right, is all about what? Getting any and all to join. The title of his actual thing says what? Join the family. So the fact of the matter is, it's for every Israelite. And the whole point is what? To show that they're out there picking up trash. They're counselors or teachers. Not only that, they're people. You know, they barbecue, they cook out, they have wives, they have marriages, they play games, they dance, they rap, they do music. It's all it's all one big party. Join the family. We're one big family. Has nothing to do with the will of Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai, because the will of Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai is to gather the elect. So, as the scriptures explain several times over, and as we who are seasoned in this truth already know the outcome, they will fall. Why? Because Acts chapter 5, verse 34. Then stood up there one in the council, a Pharisee named Gamaliel, a doctor of the law, had in reputation among all the people, and commanded to put the apostles forth a little space, and said unto them, Ye men of Israel, take heed to yourselves what ye intend to do as touching these men. For before these days rose up Judas, boasting himself to be somebody, to whom a number of men, about 400, joined themselves, who was slain and all, and as many as obeyed him were scattered and brought to naught. After this man rose up Galilee, like a Judas of Galilee, in the days of the taxing, and drew away much people after him. He also perished, and all, even as many as obeyed him, were dispersed. Just like that prophecy where it says, "Smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall scatter." Now, I was talking about Yahushua, but it could be applied to any leader. It was the same with Ahab. When Ahab was rebuked by that one prophet, and he told him, he said the same thing. He said, "You gonna fall, and then your sheep gonna scatter." Even one of his men said, his men tried to curse out that prophet. And he was like, "Whatever, man. Look, we about to lock you up." And he was like, "Well, know this of surety. You're gonna run basically to this land with your tail between your legs." In so many words, I believe I'm explaining what he said basically. And then he told Ahab, he said, "If you come back in one piece, the Lord have not sent me." So he was put down, and all his false prophets and all his men were scattered. It's going to happen again. It goes on to say, "And now I say unto you, refrain from these men, and let them alone. For if this counsel or if this work be of men, it will come to naught." And we know and believe that the will of Bishop Nathaniel is his will alone, and it is the will of man, which means it will come to naught. It's going to come to naught. And he goes on to say, "But if it be of Yahweh, you cannot overthrow it, lest happily ye be found even to fight against Yahweh." And you know what's funny? You know what group is actually fighting against Yahweh? IUIC. You know that group actually tried to stop the apostles. How do you say that? Well, this group is known, their leader is known for sitting down with the devil and making a deal. They have a 501c3 charter, which comes with, research tells you that comes with gag orders, and that comes with restrictions on doctrines and the things you can or cannot say. And we believe that the refusal to teach the name of Yahushua in the name of Yahweh is part of the number one, right? But there's a video that they uploaded. I believe it was titled Esau sends Israeli informant. No, it says Esau sends Israeli informant to threat assess the Israelites. So that's their leader, Bishop Nathaniel, sitting down with this Amalekite, this small hat, this so-called Jew, and just giving them information. Right? He's recording it with a big smile, cheese on his face. And you see his men in the back, they ain't happy. Because they know full well they got no business. Bishop Nate got no business sitting down with this dude, giving him information. He's giving it to him. Right? He was saying, so how many men in your group? Oh, I don't know. Oh, give me a rough estimate. I don't know. Few thousand, 5,000. He was writing it down. Okay, so okay. So how do you guys form? Okay. So who's the highest? You're the highest, and the bishop. Who's under you? Okay. Nate was giving it all. Did you give it to him? And we know why, right? That's his way of giving the devil enough information so that they can be left alone and allowed to function in society as they have been doing. And even in the midst of that debrief with Esau, he actually threw the great millstone in there and tried to label us thieves and rapists. He said, "Oh yeah, you got groups out there who say you can steal and rape women just as long as you're doing it in the Lord." And he was like, "Oh, you talking about a grand millstone?" And he was like, "A great millstone." I mean, he wanted to clarify. No, nigga, get it right. Okay, it's GMS Great Millstone. That's what he wanted to say. Basically, that was his attempt to say, look, go after them, leave us alone. And it's not going to work, dude. Bro, just because you sit down with the devil and you're trying to send him our way, we still remember the time where you name dropped the apostles. You tried to label Great Millstone crazy. You called us derelicts. And then you name dropped the apostles, each apostle, Apostle Tahar Kabar and Apostle Ramlab. You threw their names out there, government names. Why would you do that? Because you're trying to send them after us. That's what you're trying to do. That's you fighting against the Lord. Okay? You know, when people leave that group, they get tore down. The testimonies of their old men and women, they get tore down. Okay? I'm gonna be honest with you. IUIC is no different from the Edomites. The IUIC leadership, which is really one leader, Bishop Nathaniel, okay, and his heads, his wicked heads. Oh man, how can you say that? Well, according to the scripture right here, Sirach chapter 10, it says, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. So his men under him are just as conniving. I use that word, it's pretty funny. Just as liars, okay, just as snakes, just as him, because otherwise they can't hang around him. You know what I'm saying? Another scripture that proves that, the book of Sirach 27, verse 6, it says, the fruit declareth if the tree have been dressed. So is the utterance of a conceit in the heart of man. So you know, just like you can tell if you hear a child talk, or a rebellious child or whatever, you could tell right off the rip, right? Yeah, he was raised by his mother, or she was raised by his mother. He had no father in the house. You could just tell, right? By their behaviors, by the way they act, their speech. Well, as Yahushua says himself, you will know them. Matthew 7:16. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns, figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast in the fire. That's ultimately what's going to happen to that group. Wherefore, by their fruits ye shall know them. Right. Forgive me, I have a cough, and I have to get these cough drops just to get through this. So their fruits, the men under them, they are just as corrupt. And we have the evidence to prove it. Okay, it's out there, really. So that group is no different from the Edomites. Elder D-Mash did a lesson, and he titled it, IUIC is Amalek Jr. And that's a very precise title. You ain't nothing. Them devils over there ain't nothing but Amalek Jr. They do everything that those Edomites do. Edomites love to cover shit up. That's all they do. They cover shit up and try to maintain the squeaky image on top of it. So anybody that ever tried to spoke up or do something right, they tore them down. Okay? Tried to blacklist them, ruin their businesses, slander them. They all say the same thing, because that's how those Edomites get down. They just bury shit. And they got fancy lawyers and all these things to bury it. That's it. All kind of filth and pollution is behind the glitz and glamour. But you just don't see it. But trust and believe, that man is over there struggling like hell to maintain that image and to maintain that group. It's basically glued together with broken pieces of a broken vessel glued together. He's slowly trying to paste shit up. That's how much stress he's having over there. You just don't see it. All you see is these commercials, which is exactly just a front to cover up that shit ain't going well over there. It ain't. Look, man, read Matthew 23. That's a verse they're afraid of. They don't touch that. They don't touch that chapter. Yahushua already called them out in every single area. Oh man, he went to Africa. Oh, look, the Lord said ye could pass sea and land to make one proselyte a child of hell more than yourselves. You can do all this work to tell them that the Messiah is black. That's it. That's all they're doing. Black. But you mean to tell me you can't throw the name in there? You can't give him his proper name. But you could travel the sea in the world and put it on videos. The Lord already called you out, man. There's really nothing you can do that can really surprise us. And we already know the deal. That group is going to fall because it is the will of man. Now you may not believe us, but as what the the righteous Pharisee just said, if it be of the Most High, you cannot overthrow it. It said, but if it be the will of man, it will come to naught. And one of my favorite verses, Proverbs chapter 12:9, I believe, truthful words stand the test of time, but lies will soon be exposed. What really matters is the latter end. As Yahweh said, I wish they would consider the latter end. What matters is the latter end, not the current. So all that matters is what? Time. Now, Great Millstone, starting with the apostles and elders, dealing with that microchip, it's coming to pass, baby. Stance never changed. But you know who stance just changed at least 8 times over? IDYC. But if the Lord truly dealing with them, how come they couldn't see that the mark of the beast is chip, and still to this day? Why are they now backtracking and admitting and acknowledging, yeah, that technology exists, but it's just not going to be the mark of the beast? So time is always going to stand correct. If you really the truth is going to stand. If another scripture. Book of Psalms, verse 21, verse 27. It says, except the Lord Yahweh build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord Yahweh keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain. So it doesn't matter how much effort you put in, how glamorous you make it look, what type of materials you use. It does not matter if you got the money or the means to do such things, to make it look very nice and polishy and neat. The fact of the matter is, it is the will of man, and it's the will of one man, which is Bishop Nathaniel. His title on it alone explains it. He said, join the family. That means anybody could join. That means it's not about the elect. It's about numbers. Join the family. We're people just like you. You can get a wife. You can have fun. That's why they truly don't prophesy the destruction of America. How could they? It's a conflict of interest. It's a conflict of interest. Okay, we're prophesying a decline of the economy, the American dollar. You think they're going to talk about that? No, because then their livelihood is gone. Finito. That's why they don't prophesy the destruction of this place. They just talk about what? Building cities and getting people off drugs. They don't prophesy, man. They don't quote Yahweh Shai, man. They don't quote Yahweh Shai. The only time they quote Yahweh Shai is when the Lord said to keep the commandments, which are important. But yet, what else did Yahweh Shai say? Didn't he talk about faith, mercy, and grace? Didn't he heal people? That's another good question. What commandments did the blind, the dead, the lame, what commandment did they keep to get healed? They didn't keep no commandment. They simply said, I believe. And then they were healed. Then the Lord said, go and sin no more. So what justifies you? It's your faith. You ain't gonna hear them say that. If they do, they're gonna immediately say, nope, law, statutes, commandments. Right? It's the will of Bishop Nathaniel. It's marriages according to Bishop Nathaniel, not according to the scriptures. Yeah. We know the scripture says that an unbelieving wife can have an unbelieving husband or vice versa. But we say that you really gonna have to put them away unless they keep these commandments. So you just added that. You added that. You know what I'm saying? You add and take away. Just like you took away the Lord's name from the doctrine. 101 excuses why you can't say the name. And you think what's more important is the black. And that's why those people in there are just a bunch of damn zombies. You just recruiting zombies to follow orders. And they just there to get a wife. Or they just want to have some fun. They just want somewhere to go. Ask them to break down Revelation chapter 6. What about Revelation 13? 20? Like, damn, nigga, what do you know? How long you been in the group? Talking about some they vet people. You just do FBI background checks. You don't properly spiritually vet people. You just spiritually vet those who can properly take orders. That's it. Nobody who's critical thinker is allowed. They're just like the fucking Edomites, man. They move and operate just like the Edomites. That's why the book of James chapter 2 says what? Ye that have respect of persons. He says you become judges of evil thoughts. You basically become a damn heathen. Yahushua himself explained it. That's why when you really study the law, man, the law is telling us not to be a fucking Edomite, which is the worst of the worst. Esau don't have compassion on his neighbor. Esau don't believe in the poor, helping the poor out and all those things. Esau looked down and snuff his nose and thinks everybody beneath him is beneath him. That's exactly what IUIC, their leader, thinks, calling us bums and grapists and falsely slandering, saying we're poor and, things like that. And all of them say that. So are they really keeping the law? No, they're a bunch of fucking hypocrites. You know what I'm saying? This is the book of Psalms chapter 37, and this applies to wicked Israelites because they're no different from the Edomites, man. Verse 34 says, wait on the Lord Yahweh and keep his way, and he shall exalt thee to inherit the land. When the wicked are cut off, thou shalt see it. And we're going to see it. So what do we say? We say what? The reason why Eve, the so-called black woman, is going down is because what? Esau Edom's going down. She joined her hand to Esau Edom, therefore she's going down along with Esau Edom. Anybody else who is joined into Esau Edom, which includes IUIC, they're going to go down too. Because they're joined into Egypt. They're joined into Egypt, and as Isaiah 30 says, woe to them who strengthen themselves in Egypt, because their horses are many. The Lord said Egypt is flesh. Egyptians are flesh, okay, and not the Lord, and not the spirit. But that's how they truly think, because they are very close in the system. They can slander people. They can throw people business out there. Okay, all their so-called enemies they've gotten, they've earned because of unjust dealings. Trying to ruin their businesses, literally strong-arming people out of their own businesses. Like their leader, one of their leaders, Kanai, okay? By the way, a charge is brought to him on what? Embezzlement. You got the Joy Morgan story. I ain't never heard it. Yeah, because they do everything in their power to bury it. Why? Because they're just like the fucking Edomites. We just sweep shit under the rug and bury it. And whenever anybody tries to bring anything up, we don't deal with it directly. We just speak loud, or we drown it out with videos and pictures and colors. Just drown it out. That's what they do. They don't deal with shit like men. Okay. And the book of Proverbs 28 says, whoso, all they can try to do is to drown you out, because they know that they can't deal with it. That's all they can do. Just like a goddamn Edomite. Proverbs 28:13, he that covereth his sins shall not prosper, but whoso confesses and forsaketh them shall have mercy. So you got to be honest. You got to have some integrity about yourself. Bishop Nathaniel was responsible for the breakup back in the old school that you would never hear from him out of his mouth. He was responsible for kicking Apostle Tahar out of the camp. And then also King Mashaf, I believe, if I recount the story correctly. Because the Apostle Tahar says that they were saying that Cornelius was indeed an Israelite. The other half, including Nate, disagreed. And when Apostle Tahar said, okay, let's cast a lot, I know I'm right, Bishop Nathaniel said, you can't do that. That's wicked. So he was against that. So he's responsible for breaking up the school. And then next thing you know, you see him and he says, yeah, Cornelius is an Israelite. And I broke it down to my men and I told them they were going to see it. No apology, no nothing, no integrity. And when people ask him, so where'd you come from? All he basically says was, well, I came from the old school. Things get out of hand. I knew I had to get out of there. And so now I'm here. He don't talk about none of the shit that he got involved in his dirty work and his dirty laundry. Because he just tries to bury it. That's it. He's just like they're just like Edomites, man. They're like a bunch of heathen. And that's why the law tells us really not to be a fucking Edomite. When you look at Esau, Edom, they're the worst of the worst, man. Right? So the law is telling us to be brotherly, to act like men. Part of that is owning up, showing some accountability. You know, what's wrong with just saying, yeah, you know, I had it wrong back then about the Cornelius, but now I understand. The Spirit revealed it to me. But back then, I was involved with this and that. But now I know that's how you prosper, man, because you own it. You know what I'm saying? The case with the two men that lost 11 months of their life, with Nate being one of the arresting officers. Okay, whenever that came up, he never addressed it. But he said, I believe he said that he had to leave the police because he saw there was too much corruption there. Too much corruption. Okay, you gonna talk about your involvement with that shit? Because if you did, guess what? The scripture says that whoso returneth from sin, don't mention no more. So if he actually opened up and admitted these things, we wouldn't have nothing to say. We couldn't say it. We'll just say, hey, look, at least he got some integrity. We'll think like, okay, he got a chance. He doesn't do that. The word sorry is not in his vocabulary. Okay. Me apologize to the bums? Oh, sorry isn't in his vocabulary. Okay. He probably doesn't even know what the word looks like. I'm not trying to throw any insults or anything. I'm just being serious. That's not a word in his vocabulary. Okay. Because that's a sign of humility to say Salakia or I'm sorry. He can't do that. You know, he just tries to drown it out and bury it. All these names like Gina Blue. Yeah, that's an enemy of IUIC. Why? Because they really pushed her to it. Now, originally we was like, whatever, it's just a black woman. They don't believe or whatever. But you saw if you know how they did her, and you understand why she mad. You understand why she scorned. Because the way they did her, putting her business out there like that. You know, ruining business, strong people arm out of their own business. You got people trying to beg, Bishop Nathaniel to do the right thing and have that guy Kanai give back the money. They stealing money and all that. And he just tries to distance himself very far from it. He don't deal with nothing right, man. You know? He don't deal with nothing right, man. You know what I mean? Lives, people he done ruined, and families, IUIC done ruined. And they're going to put up this fucking commercial like this polished group that's just the bet. Man, get the fuck out of here. All kind of skeletons in that closet. That's why Matthew chapter 23. All we got to say. It's just a front. It's over for that group. Okay, they're being dismantled as we speak. They're getting pressured about the name. That's the Spirit of the Lord working against them. Do you understand? You don't see it that way. You don't see it, but that's the Spirit of the Lord working against them. Don't nobody come to Great Millstone question us about the name. We get them the name. Hell, we happy. Hell, you know about the name? Man, let's break down the name for the viewers. Let's give praise to that name. Now that UIC, they getting pressured all up and down. Look, I explained, but one time they was, at this gas station, as I was riding my bike by, I heard them get pressed about the name. I heard somebody pressing them about the name. And in the short 10 seconds of me just passing through from a distance, because they had a microphone, I said, look, they even getting pressed by the name on and off camera, bro. The Spirit is working against that group. You understand? This commercial, whatever, is just an attempt to save face. They're going down. Because Esau's going down. And you're joined into Esau, so you're going down, just like the so-called black woman. Psalms 37. Verse 35, it says, I have seen the wicked in great power and spreading himself like a green bay tree. What's King David saying? That's what this whole chapter is about. Like if you read the very first verse, like the caption there, it says security of those who trust in the Lord and the insecurity of the wicked. And it starts out by saying, what? Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious of the workers of iniquity. Because it says what? That a sinner may have much success. But it says what? Don't envy that, because the latter end, he can't escape. The scripture says the sinner shall not escape with their spoils. Edom thinks he's free. He thinks he got away. He really thinks he's going to accomplish his great grandmaster scheme plan, which is to put microchips in everybody and have everybody as slaves. By the way, Great Millstone is the only group, and when I say only, I mean IUIC is not going to teach you that. They're not going to teach you that the microchip is the mark of the beast and Edom wants to put a microchip to control you. They're not going to teach you that. They're going to say, oh, it's sin. They're not going to warn you about that. They're not going to tell you to build up your faith in the Lord. You know? It says, for they shall soon be cut down like grass and wither as the green herb. So though they may sprout and spread, he said, you just do that which is right. And in the end, you're going to see what's going to happen to them. And that's why we here at Great Millstone, I'm be honest, we couldn't even be more spiritually secure and firm in our belief, because we see this shit falling, man. When we talk, we're talking about Russia, Syria. We're talking about, we like, look, this is it. This is it. All that's left is that chip. When Trump get in office, he gonna push that chip. We looking for it. We secure over here. IUIC is not. You ask them about the mark of the beast, they're gonna keep telling you sin. And they're gonna say, yeah, we know about the digital currency and all that, but don't worry about it. They ain't got it, man. Read that again. It says, I have seen the wicked in great power and spreading himself like a green bay tree. And IUIC is no different from the Edomites, man. So they're spreading like a green bay tree. That's what it seemed like, right? It says, yet he passed away, and lo, he was not. Yea, I sought him, but he could not be found. So just going back to that, what the righteous Pharisee said, though these people rise up, and though it may seem like they're going to do something noble, just like the ones who wanted to rebel against the taxes, just like the one who drew 400 people away, they think they're going to really get something done, right? And they may go out there and fight, do whatever it is. If the Lord is not with them, if the Lord did not build the house, it's going to fall. It's all about the long run and long sustainability. You know what I'm saying? Just like people today who get with women and stuff like that. People just get together because they're attracted to one another, but they end up maybe falling out of divorces because they ain't really considered the long end. Everything always looks sweet at the beginning. You got to consider the long run. You understand? And in the long run, IUIC will fall. And great will be the fall of it. Oh, man, you just jealous. You just hating. We doing good over. Okay. You know what we waiting for? Trump to get in office. Pass these bills. Go to war with the middle. Go to war, right? And use Elon Musk to push this chip, which, by the way, you can already look this up, but Gates bill already has a microchip pilot program. Every newborn baby that's being born, I believe it's in Ghana, of Africa, is being microchipped. Look it up. That's happening right in your face. So by the end of December, we're going to see if they're going to make it permanent over there. Oh, that's just Africa. That's just Africa. Yeah, okay. See, we know we're right. And you got to ask the question. Well, okay, let's just say they are wrong on the chip. Well, then the question is, well, wait a minute. If the Lord is really dealing with them, how come they couldn't see that the microchip is the mark of the beast? And how come they can't see that the name is important? The name of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is important. And what else are they wrong on? And these people are going to ask the questions. That's why the average people out there, they're pressing IUIC now. They just can't go out and teach like they normally do. They're getting pestered. That's the Lord working. You just ain't seeing it. But it's happening, man. That's the Lord bringing them down. This commercial, all that is all cap. It's a front. And just like his little thing said, join the family. So that right there shows you that it has nothing to do with the elect, has nothing to do with the will of Yahushua. It's the will of man. And what's going to happen? It will fall. And the shepherd and smite the shepherd and the sheep shall scatter. You're all going to scatter, lost. You're going to try to come over here, and we're going to hit you with go to the sellers and buy. Oh, yeah, great will be the fall of IUIC. Let's go with what Yahushua said. Let's see if he had that join the family spirit. John 6 and 43. And Yahushua therefore answered and said unto them, murmur not among yourselves. No man can come to me except the Father which hath sent me draw him, and I will raise him up at the last day. But wait a minute, according to IUIC, you could just join the family. What? Join the family. So anybody could just join? Huh? It's about the elect. It's about who the Lord draws in. It says, it is written in the prophets, and they shall be all taught of Yahweh. Every man, therefore, that have heard and have learned of the Father cometh to me. So only the sincere righteous I mean, the scriptures talk about how you're going to draw in the good and the bad, but the sincere righteous is going to stand. The bad is eventually going to be cast out because of their refusal to humble down and to get right. So the point is, this is the will of the Father. Okay, Yahweh Shai, he right here, he doesn't care about hurting these people's feelings. He just hitting them with the truth. And you want to know why? Because he says it in the end, which I'm going to read. It says, not that any man have seen the Father, save which is of Yahweh, he have seen the Father. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me have everlasting life. I am that bread of life. And I'm going to jump down. Verse 52. The Jews therefore strong among themselves, saying, how can this man give us flesh to eat? And they didn't understand that he was talking about himself. And what he really meant was to pick up your cross. So I'm going to jump down to 59. These things said he in the synagogue as he taught in Capernaum. Many therefore of his disciples, when they had heard this, said, this is a hard saying. Who can hear it? When Yahushua knew in himself that his disciples murmured at it, he said unto them, doth this offend you? What? And if ye shall see the Son of Man ascend up where he was before. Right? It is a spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. But there are some of you that believe not. It says, for Yahushua knew from the beginning who they were that believed not and who should betray him. So he knew that a lot of them was what? Full of shit. He said, upward, you only hear because you ate, and you're here because of the miracles. So the Lord wasn't with this quantity over quality spirit. He wasn't trying to go along to get along. Well, I want y'all to hang around, and all that matters is that we're brothers. And man, hell no. He said, no, the only people I want around me are real. Fuck this brother. Well, we're brothers, right? He said, my family is those who do the will of my Father and keep it. He said, I already know y'all ain't serious. But they were considered what? Disciples. And the word disciple means what? Like a follower. But he knew they weren't for real. So he didn't care that they got offended. And he said, therefore said I unto you that no man could come unto me except they were given unto him of my Father. So that's the point. It's all about drawing in the elect. But now the IUIC, it just says join the family. So basically just sign up. Just sign up. Come on in, get you a wife. Yeah, now we really got you. Because we're going to go get you. You're going to have to go legally change your name. Okay, that's me fulfilling my deal and going to get your name on the book so Esau Edom will know. Okay, you got to make them happy, right? And then you're going to go get legally married. And then now they know you all because now they got you on the books. Such and such been Israel and such been Israel. Sending them right on over to the Esau. Okay. And they say, if you ain't do it, then you ain't for real. So that's the doctrine of Bishop of Daniel. And that ain't in the scriptures. You understand? Sending you right on over. Okay. And now you can't leave. You can't leave. Okay. No, you can't. Well, brother, that's okay. I mean, this is my wife. I'll just leave. And I don't really care if she go to the school. Guess what's going to happen? Sister, your such and such isn't a part of the truth anymore. You got to leave him. That's what they going to do. That's how they trap you. Just like the fucking Edomites. Read Matthew chapter 23. They were basically acting like a bunch of damn heathen. Verse 66. There it is. Out of cough drops. It says, from that time, many of his disciples went back and walked no more with him. Now, did the Lord chase them down? Wait a minute, y'all. Come back. What matters is that we're friends and that we get along. It doesn't matter what you believe. It says, then Yahushua unto the 12, will ye also go away? So he looked at the 12. You going away too? So you think the Lord gave a shit about those who didn't believe? He only wanted those who were sincere. He was about quality over quantity. And that's Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua in general, is quality over quantity. The Israelites were the fewest of people on the planet. He didn't choose us because our great stature or whatever. He saw in us something that we didn't see in us, a good heart. Okay. If he saw what in us that we couldn't even see ourselves. The scripture says his love for us can't even be understood, the love that he has for us. And we were the fewest amongst people. So the Lord don't deal with outward appearance. King David was anointed He was a sheep keeper. He said, I don't deal with outward appearance. You know who cares about outward appearance? Fucking Esau. And maintaining an outward appearance and burying shit. And so no, and that's why what Lord's bringing out all the shit about them. At one point, you couldn't say nothing about a so-called Jew. Now the whole world is saying to their face that they're the damn devil. Now what? Now the whole world is calling out your laundry of what you really wanted to do, of how you really thought about other people, who's really the wicked, who's really calling the shots. And that's why the Lord said what? Esau can't hide himself. So he's revealing them, bringing them down. And everybody joined into him, who is joined into Egypt, who makes a pact with Egypt, is going to fall too. Just like Eve, the so-called black woman primarily, but it's all the Israelite women in general. They're falling. We can see it. And oh yeah. And just like IUIC, who's joined also to Esau Edom, with that 501c3 joined to the Egypt, they're falling too. You just don't see it, but it's happening, man. Okay? Scripture says, he that cared for riches will take away sleep. And they got so much shit on this damn plate, he can't even focus. Because the scripture said there is no peace to the wicked. Whatever you can apply to Esau Edom, you can just apply to their group, because they just like the damn Edomites, man. They established a house not by the will of the Lord. They took bribes, man. Okay? Yahweh Shah said in Matthew 23, what? You rob widow houses. And just like the testimony of that brother and his wife, okay, who the brother is now in the spirit world, Kashalakia, if I'm saying his name right, who he was acknowledged by Kanai as the pocket. Why? Because of covetousness. Because he's a football player, he had good money. He referred to him as the pocket and exploited him. And he ended up going to the spirit world. So now all that's left was his wife. So who knows what happened with her, you know, if they ever got things back, their business back, their money back or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of shit that goes on over there. You just won't see it. All you can see is the commercials. Oh, they just look so happy. Yeah, because that's exactly how Esau Edom operate. They try to drown out all the truth of the matter with videos and just speak louder and marching and shit. And they think that because they have a lot of money and they're cops and they're close to Esau Edom, they're going to prosper. You are going to fall just like Esau's going to fall. And great will be the fall of you. And I can tell you, man, we here at Great Millstone and our affiliates, we couldn't be more secure in our position. We couldn't be more secure in our position. Why? Because Scripture said, truthful words stand the test of time. A house built upon a rock, you're going to withstand that rainstorm, heat, all the wiles of the devil. And he that built his house on sand, they rejoice in just for a moment. Because when the shit really heat up, it's going to be found out that he that, you know, took the time to do it right, his is going to sustain in the long run, not no short term will of man, money, prosper. It's short term, man. It ain't going to mean shit real soon. Okay, so just that title alone, join the family, is proof that this is the will of man, and according to the scripture, the will of man will come to naught. All right, with that, shalom.